what's up? It's John Samuel, and welcome to All Access Live. And today we have some very, very special guests. We have two of my favorite people. We have Shannon Garner, and we have Morgan Cates from Abler and Ableworks. So super excited to have you here today. What's up, y'all?
Hi. Hey. Good to be with you.
Well, thank you so much. Morgan's been on the show before when we were talking about Ableworks and the teamship program that we did with District C. So welcome back, Morgan.
Thank you.
And Shannon is, for those who don't know, Shannon has been with Abler and the predecessor LCI Tech for what, 4 years? 3 years? What is it?
3.
3 years, right? We just had an anniversary, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
Yes. And so for people who don't know, Shannon is actually the very, very first person who ever joined me to help build out, a whole company and business that was focused on creating employment for people with disabilities. And that's why, that's what really I'm passionate about, what drives me every day, what we do at Abler. And that's why I'm super excited to have Shannon, because Shannon has been there from the very beginning. And she has now, really taking on a new role and helping develop and deliver a training program. So that's what we're here today to talk about. So Morgan, can you please talk about what Ableworks is doing in terms of creating a new workforce development program?
Absolutely. Happy to. So with Abler, our mission is to remove barriers for people with disabilities and people with all abilities. And so what we do at Ableworks is to create those workforce and employment opportunities. So with Abler right now, we are working with wonderful people and partners to create a digital accessibility analyst training. And as part of that specialized training, there's other pieces that tie into it, such as not only a technology assessment, but technology upskilling, right? Just in general for any of those technology platforms that are used in the modern workforce. If anyone needs extra skill building there, we have that time and practice and that ability to tailor that. Shannon is building out a wonderful program with our career exploration and mentorship. There's a lot of research around mentorship, being able to provide people not only with a more happy workplace, but getting jobs not only that they love, but they're able to move up in quickly. And then beyond that, also providing that career support after they go through our training to be able to have the support to land the roles they want. And one of the things that I know we're all passionate about is the internship piece, right? Being able to intern with Abler and other companies that are doing digital accessibility, as that's our specific training right now. So that's kind of the overview of what we've been building out. And of course, that specific training can change based on the interest of our consumers and the hiring opportunities. But right now, that digital accessibility analyst training, we're also excited about. Great interest and great opportunity there for people who are, ready.
No, thank you for sharing that, Morgan, because you get a really great synopsis. Because, you're right. I mean, the internships is such a big part. And I also, as equally important, I think it's the mentorship, right? I think, throughout my career, I've had some wonderful mentors who've helped me. And I'm super excited to be able to, for us to deliver a program that can kind of provide all those intricate pieces that go into really setting people up for success. But absolutely. Shannon, you as somebody who's a digital accessibility analyst, you've gone through this. We've had people on the team. You've been there from the very beginning. We've had people who joined our team, got trained, they moved on to different companies, and the value of this skill set that you've been able to develop over the last several years. So can you talk about why is digital accessibility a great career?
Sure. Being visually impaired and, growing up in a situation where a lot of things wasn't always like accessible for me, I feel like it was just a great leeway for me to be, or predestined for me to be in this type of career. But I was kind of sort of thrown into it. And I mean that in a good way. Coming to LCI Tech, which was prior to Abler, I worked in a call center, and things were always crashing, and certain parts of things wasn't accessible. And when I moved back home to North Carolina, I started working at LCI. That's where I met John, and went to LCI Tech, and I it was a lot happening at that time. So I had to actually go back to manufacturing. And then John found me on the manufacturing floor, was like, hey, come and work for me. Or would you like to work for me again? I was like, yeah, sure. So when I went back for the second time to LCI Tech, it turned out that I was going to be, in the digital accessibility field. At first, I was extremely intimidated. At that time, I had a great support team with LCI Tech, with the other individuals that were on the team at that time. And, they were just like, Shannon, you're fine. You'll be okay. You can do this. And I said, okay, I've been dealing with this all my life. I should be able to, right? But now, since I am here in the career of digital accessibility and being able to make things accessible, or test for things that are not accessible, to make them accessible for individuals, not just with visual impairments like myself, but for individuals with all abilities, all across the spectrum, it's just eye opener, and just wonderful to have that sense of accomplishment, to be like, oh, I did that, and that's going to help someone else, because that's something that I always wanted to do, is be able to help people, assist people into bettering themselves and motivating them to be the best people that they can be. And I feel like digital accessibility, being in this career, is giving me that opportunity. Yeah. So thank you, John.
No, I mean, Shannon, I talk about it. If anyone's ever heard any podcast or anything I've done, I say the thing I'm most proud of in my time at LCI and Abler has been the growth and development of Shannon. Shannon, as mentioned, she was in the manufacturing floor, and manufacturing is a noble profession, but I truly believe that she was underemployed there. And to watch Shannon grow in this role, she went from a digital accessibility analyst to a senior digital accessibility analyst, and now she's actually doing the training for this new digital accessibility program that we've been talking about. And so it's super to watch people grow, because that's why we do this, right? And so Shannon, one of the things I want to touch on is that when you first started off in the digital accessibility analyst, I remember telling you, we got to get these certifications, we got to do this. And I remember there was a lot of pushback. And so, oh, we can't do this, John, we can't do this. So tell me, Shannon, as somebody who it felt overwhelming, as you mentioned, you had a great support network, but you did feel like it was overwhelming. But how did you overcome that? And was it possible? You're a proven example. It is, but talk through that.
I mean, I just feel like at that time, just coming into something new and having to figure out how things work and all these different processes, it was, just looking at it, it's like looking at a mountain, right?
Yeah.
But if you have the right people behind you and saying like, hey, you can do this, I believe in you, we're with you 100%, and just having that support system, that is what helps you get over or to the top of that mountain. And I think that was the biggest part for me, is just having people there. And every time I would take a baby step forward, they wouldn't allow me, and you were part of the team, John, to take a step backwards. They were just like, okay, keep going, keep going, keep going. And, it's like playing a sport. If you have that team, a football team is just not the quarterback. Everybody around that quarterback, because he needs protection. He needs, receivers to throw the ball to, and all of that. They can't just do it by themselves. So as long as you have that team that's going to support you and push you up that mountain, then you can make it through anything. It's the support system that you have to have. You can't do this on your own. Even though some of us might try, we can do it. My friends always need friends. That's so true. You need your friends. You need your support system.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, and so Morgan, even thinking about that analogy of that quarterback and building the support around that individual, that offensive line. I think that's when you built, designing the overall program, you thought about that, right? Like all the different aspects. So how do you think our, program at Ableworks is really going to be able to set people up for success and provide them with that support?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always so wonderful to hear you and Shannon talk, because y'all are so passionate and so driven by community and being able to support within, because I do think life in so many ways is easier in community, right? Just like Shannon said, we have each other's back, and you don't have to fall backwards.
Yeah.
We can go up the mountain together. So when we were thinking about how to do that full range support and including that community, the things that I really like that we're doing, and please y'all chime in as well, would be with several areas. One being how we can tailor this for the consumers. And so not only for interest and hiring opportunities in this area, but even like the learning styles, and just like Shannon said, for any and all abilities, and even just how Shannon works with me, right? Like, hey, how do you prefer information? Hey, how can I best help set you up for success in this, even with our format? And so those kind of tailorized pieces, I don't think tailorized is a word, but I've said it. So that's one way for that support. And then just like you were talking about earlier with the mentorship, and then as our community grows, our alumni community, what Shannon will be building out and is building out with that career exploration, bringing people in who have already like paved the way or gone ahead. And so being able to have exposure to people, places, and things, right? Either where you want to go, or maybe where you're considering going, and being able to sit down and talk with people, pick their brain, learn from them, have that support, get those introductions, grow your knowledge and network base. So that's another way. And then I would say, besides the specific training and that being tailored and having a wonderful instructor in Shannon, and then any other support that would come from our team as well, like Angus or Kim or Suzanne or yourself, John, would be that after support with the career support piece, right? So with the internship, being able to get real life experience, right? Like doing the thing that you've just been trained to do, not only with Abler, but potentially like our other partnering companies. And then that support from a career professional, being able to make, again, that support and the connections. I just think there's so much that we tried our best to listen first, right? Talking with the consumers, talking with the counselors, as well as the companies, and seeing what was out there to provide a program that would be, like we just said, tailored and supportive in that community kind of career setting, so that it's not just landing a role, but it's landing a role that you want, that you can grow in. That upward mobility that you often talk about.
Yeah, for sure. But I love the way you just tapped into it. One of the things that we did in building this program wasn't just like, we try to build something like the whole, Kevin Costner Field of Dreams. We build it and they'll come. We tried that, right? We learned.
Been there, done that. True story.
Exactly, right? And then we realized, we need to talk to people. And I love that, because you spend a lot of time talking to counselors across the state of North Carolina, and you also talk to different companies to understand what do you want, right? And I think that's what makes this program unique. And so one of the things that we also found out from this conversations was we have to do assessments of people. So can you talk through the need and value of doing assessments of individuals prior to taking our program?
Absolutely. And Shannon, are you okay if I tag you in there? Because I know you're leading that right now, and I'm more of a support, but I would love to also talk about it too, but tag, you're it.
Okay. So for the importance of assessing people is just basically to know where you are, within the spectrum of how you can actually enter into this program, because we want to be able to provide support all over the place. So even if you are not at the point where you need to be in order to enter into digital accessibility, we want to be able to provide you with the resources you need to get to that point, because we're not trying to leave anyone behind, especially if this is what you want to do. If this is what you want to do, and you want to be an advocate in the digital accessibility world, we want to help you get there. And that's why we assess people, because we need to know what can we do to get you where you need to go. And it's also a part of that tailorized.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That tailorization.
Now you're going even more. Yeah, dig in there. Keep going.
Absolutely.
With that.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're giving everybody what they need at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think you've hit on so many good points. And I think learning that you've got to know where you are, right? And so being able to do that assessment of like, hey, here's where we are. How can we move forward where you want to go together, right? And like Shannon just said, that tailorized piece. And I love it, Shannon. Like, we don't want to leave anyone behind. And so after the assessment, and John and Shannon, add on to this, we sit down with anyone who goes through that assessment with us, and it goes over the technical functions, right? So anything and everything, the Microsoft Word environment, email, team collaborative type apps like, oh my goodness, Teams
Zoom.
and Slack and Zoom, like all of those things.
Exactly.
Everything.
It's very thorough. And I will also say very fun because Shannon leads it. And it is just, it's, dare I say, enjoyable, because I think it is. And then also learning more about, the interests, and then also just about the background with education and volunteering, career, et cetera. And there's no place that you need to be, but it's just kind of assessing, right? Like, where are we right now? And then from there, we sit down afterwards and say, hey, what we've learned, here's where you are. And from what we've also learned, here's where you want to be. Here's a roadmap. We can walk as much of it together. But at least you have a starting point, and we share some resources, even beyond our own, to help really support anyone who's interested in. And just like Shannon said, if you want to do that digital accessibility, we're there for you. And then our other specialized trainings too.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because like, I often think that it's like a prerequisite when you go into or assessment of going into college or anything else, right? I think it's important that we make sure that we level set and say, okay, where are you? Because it's important. I think that I personally think any company, as we bring on people, just to get an idea where they are, so that we're setting them up for success. Because I think for me, I talk a lot about confidence building. And my biggest concern is if we put somebody in a position, and we can have all the best intentions, right? If the systems and platforms aren't accessible, we're going to set people back. If we are not making sure that the people are ready, have the skill sets to do what they need to, we're also going to be sending them back. And so this is really about building confidence, I believe.
Right. You don't want to put them in
a
a position to where they feel overwhelmed, where you feel because that can really hinder your progress, right, to where you want to go. We want to make sure that you're comfortable. We want to make sure that you feel your best before you step out there and on the playing field.
Yep. Reminds me of something that I think we've been talking about lately as a team, which is just leading with why. Why are we doing this training? Why do you want to enter this training? Why would you need any extra skill building or confidence building, that kind of a thing? And then also that sometimes, like you said, John, there can be the best of intentions, but intentions and impact don't always align, right? And so making sure that, the intentions and the impact can align is big.
Yeah, and kind of even building off of that why. Shannon, there's a lot of people who are blind or visually impaired who believe, hey, I do usability testing. I check things all the time. I don't need this. Why do you think, if you're talking to an individual who believes that they already have, the skills, doing usability testing, or, that why should they come to this training program?
Because you can always learn something new.
Yeah.
It's that simple. You may everything, and sometimes you may know most things, but there's always a room for anyone to learn more. Don't knock it. Don't knock it until you try it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Another thing I'm kind of going to your football analogy with the quarterback, is that every quarterback needs to get reps in, right? And I think that's one of the things, like going through our program, you get those reps. You can be doing usability testing on your own, but I think that, like you said, you can always learn more, and the more reps you get, the more practice you get, and the more kind of that real experience, that on the ground, like real practice, is better than just just throwing the ball on the field. Here, now you actually get game time experience. And so, Shannon, can you talk about the important in digital accessibility? I feel like it's such a, the more testing you do, the more you learn. So have you learned things with the more that you do it?
I learn things every day. Every day I test, you will never get the same experience. You will always learn something new. And there's so many different ways to fix an issue, that ways that you can even imagine. So every day working, you learn something new. Even with Kim Casey, who's our director of accessibility, she's fabulous. Like working with her, it's like always an eye opener. I actually got to work with her this morning, and it's we always finding something new, something different. Like, oh wow, I can't believe that this did this, and so it's always it's never uniformed. It's not always the same, and I think that's something that I really like about um, digital accessibility is that you're always going to find something new.
Yeah.
And you may go to a web page and it may look just like the web page you saw before, but the information on that web page may be different, and you may learn something new there. You always have to keep an open mind.
Yep, I agree. And so, touching on that whole aspect of like, getting, you're always learning, doing work every day, like in that real experience, right? So, Morgan, you touched on it, like the thing you're really excited about is the internship. Can you just explain what the internship, kind of the format and what we can expect from something like that in the future?
Absolutely, yes. And as always, John and Shannon chime in with me here. So with the internship, right now, it could be 3 to 6 months, but probably that 3-month period is what we're looking at for the typical length. And it would be part-time, so up to 20 to 28 hours. And you would get to work, just like you're saying, like in a real life setting, it is a real life setting. It would be remote, but you'd work on a team. And just like Shannon was saying, doing the digital accessibility analyst work with partners in a collaborative setting. But that comes with a mix of working on a team and working both internally and externally on teams, but then also having that solo time where you're doing the work, you're visiting the websites, you're running the assessments, all of the many wonderful things that I myself am still learning about that goes into that role. And then being able to provide very meaningful and I think very impactful feedback to companies to be able to be, as accessible and inclusive as possible, just around the board. Yes. Anything from y'all that we want to add on?
Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
Just segueing off of that, just with this program, we're not trying to have you come in, do the digital accessibility training, and just throw you into an internship in reference to what I may do every day. It's also based on the consumer's interests. So if you feel like you want to do accessibility in reference to video games, we're going to try our best to get you that. Social media, we're going to try our best to give you that. It's based on what we do in the digital accessibility field, but it's also what you're interested in.
Yeah,
love that. Yes,
point.
yes.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, here for sure. And and then Morgan, if you can touch basic, even one of our hopes is to get certifications, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Shannon, did you want to?
Yeah. So we want to set you up for success to, get the certifications that you may need or want. And just going back to like the beginning of the conversation, when John was saying like there were certifications that I had to get in the beginning that I was afraid to even attempt to do. We're here to help you get to wherever you want to go as far as that, from the trusted tester to the CPACC to the CPWA, if that's what you're into, or the WAS, which is a CPACC and a WAS together. So wherever you want to go, we want to be that support system for you.
Yeah. I think that's a big part because, I hear a lot of people, reach out, people in the blind and visually impaired community who are, they're trying to do it on their own and they're struggling, right? And I think that through this program, individuals will get that support that is so valuable to get trained, get certified, and then be able to be the best candidates they can, set them up for success as they go out into the workforce. And my hope is that employers will see the value of these individuals who've gone through our program and are getting great talent. And when we talk about DEI and include diversity, equity, inclusion, this is action. Stop talking, start taking action. Start doing, right? Like this is what it is. This is you can, we are setting people up for success. And so I often talk about the supply and demand, right? With our digital accessibility work and our disability inclusion advisory and training modules, we're building up that demand for employers. Employers build up that demand for talent. And on the supply side, we're building up that supply. And so we're going on both sides of the scale. And so hopefully employers out there get ready for an influx of awesome talent, and who you're all going to be super excited to be bringing onto your teams. And so, as we wrap up, Morgan, Shannon, do you guys want any last words?
I'm thinking.
I'm just really excited to be part of this, experience, to be able to share my knowledge with others and train them, because I've been there. You know what I mean? I've been there, so I can not only teach, but I can relate. And I think that's a big part of things. So I'm excited. Come join us.
I'll definitely echo Shannon and cheers that all the way. I think just to kind of build off of that, it's definitely okay to do things on your own if you want. And if this is something that's interested in you, just an invitation with no expectations, just to come and see, right? Meet the team. We do interest meetings, right, to share more information. And then we can take the assessment and just see, because I think that support and that exposure, to companies, people doing, similar work, and like Shannon said, being able to tailor it. Let us walk alongside you. We really want to support. And then, just for the companies, let us support you too with having wonderful talent. But then also we, at Abler, we do other services as well that can help support the constituents that we train, right? But then also helping from the company side of things as well, just across the board. So we just want to support. We just want to support all the way around. Really appreciate, our community and this time together with you, John.
Thank you both. I appreciate it.
And I also just want to give a quick shout out to Morgan. It's been a pleasure.
I'm about to say that.
It's been such a pleasure working with you. You've challenged me to look at things in a different way, and I've been loving it. So thank you so much, Morgan. You're awesome. And John, you're always awesome too.
Shout out to you both, and just a big thanks to Shannon for coming on and taking so many things on, and just will absolutely be a phenomenal instructor and support. The knowledge and the care and just the passion that we at Abler have, and John, how you lead us in that way, right? Mission with care and compassion, right? So thanks to you both.
Thank you guys. And thank you all for participating and taking part on another episode of All Access Live. Check us out at abler360.com to learn more about this wonderful program. Reach out, to the team, and we would just love to, get more business partners involved. And if you know folks who are interested in this program, individuals who can benefit from participating, reach out, let us know, because we want people to get in and we want to keep building out this program. Morgan's created this program in a way that digital accessibility may be the first program that we're building out, but we have it designed in a way to customize trainings for all different types of jobs. So for companies who are looking for talent, if you want to reach out and say, hey, Abler, we are looking for X role, help us build that, we can do that. So again,
Absolutely.
Morgan, thank you for everything you've done to build this out. I know it's going to be successful. And Shannon, thank you for now taking it to implement it. So it's we got some great partners here, and I'm so thankful. And thank you to to Annie, our producer, for everything. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.